Well, hello there, visitors to and denizens of the YouTubeverse. I'm John, your social hermit in the woods, and in this video I wanted to show you how to use uh, a Lee Loadall 2 shot shell reloader to make your own shotgun shells. So stick around. So, unlike metallic case cartridge reloading, so regular rifle or pistol cartridges, shot shell reloading doesn't involve any significant amounts of hard metal work. So the reloaders are very simple, they're very cheap, and the one I'm going to cover today is a Lee Loadall 2, this device right here. And these are inexpensive. They're about 70 or $80 Canadian, and they work well, very simply and very well, and I hope to show you that. Okay, so what basically we have here is we have a press system with multiple stages for each step in loading your shell. And then we have a couple of hoppers, one for your powder and one for your shot. Now, you don't just want to put random amounts of shot and powder in there. Obviously, that could lead to a bad sort of situation. So what you want to do is have something like a reloading guide. Now, this is the Lyman 5th edition Shot Shell Reloading Handbook. When you buy something like a Lee press here, it also comes with some pre-made sort of common loads and some information. If you're lucky, you may be able to find all the components to do an exact formulation of one of these recipes, if you will. Or you may be like me, where I couldn't quite get exactly the right primer and exactly the right powder and exactly the right wads, but still by looking at the numbers here, you can get a pretty good estimate of what you should be at. Okay, why is that important? Well, I can't show you in detail, but this device here, you see this red handle. Let's take a close-up on that. This red handle moves a plastic carrier back and forth. And inside that plastic carrier, there are slots that hold what are called bushings. Bushings which control the size of the powder drop and the size of the shell casing drop. When you buy the set, you get a whole pile of different bushings of the two types. So here, for instance, is an example of, you probably can't see that. There we go. That's the 7/8 ounce shot bushing. And this is put that in focus. This is a 163 powder bushing. So what you would do is you would look up some sort of load in your book here. So 20 gauge, 2 3/4, and you'd look up, there'd be some numbers there. It'll include amount of shot and grains of powder. Then you'd go back to this Lee chart and you'd look up that type of powder and it'll tell you which bushing, how many grains roughly that it drops. It's not an exact thing, but it's pretty close. And obviously you want to err a little bit on the side of caution. Okay, once you've decided which bushings to use, and before you load in your powder and shot, you undo these two screws, you take off this metal plate, that plastic piece comes out, and these bushings drop in. They drop in with the little numbers pointing outward so you can see what it is. You put it in there, you close it all up. So one immediate point I'll make is that this setup is really designed for doing a single load. It's a real pain to change anything. When you have stuff in here, you're going to have to very carefully tip it upside down so you don't spill everything, and then take these off. So really, you set this up once and you stick with it. Second point is these hoppers are gravity feed. You do want to keep them relatively full. The amount of shot and the amount of powder that go in when they're right full versus if they're almost empty won't really be quite the same. So try to keep them, more than a third full kind of thing. They're getting down to the point here where pretty soon I'm going to load them up. Okay. Um, Let me walk you through doing one shell, and I'll explain all the steps. And then we'll do a second one where I don't spend time explaining things, and we'll get an idea what the time is. So what do you need? You need this device, and it does have to be screwed down. It wants to be attached firmly to the work surface, so there's screw mount holes, and those are there. I'll also comment, these come in at least two gauges. They come in the 20 gauge and the 12 gauge. Those are interchangeable. You can buy an interchange kit. So if you buy the overall press in one and you want to do the other, you can just buy the interchange kit. And judging by what it says in the instructions there, I think 16 gauge is also available. Okay, so you need this, you need powder, you need shot, and then you need some casing. So I'm reusing here, these are Federal 2 3/4 inch. If you're going to use a casing, you can use these about 5 or 6 times, but first thing you want to do is inspect that it doesn't have any obvious cracks or rips. So there we go. This is a used casing, fired primer, empty. Process works like this. You do have what I'll call a sizing die, for lack of a better term, and you slide that over this. You put it in the first position here, centered down in there, and you bring the press down, and what that does is drops the primer out, and this collar resizes the metal. If you're interested in where the primer went, it goes in behind this door, collects there, and you can throw those out. And the little door just keeps them from spilling out all over the floor. Okay, so we deprimed it. Second position, you drop a primer down in that hole. So I've dropped my primer down in there. This is spring loaded. You place that on there, and you press it down. Does two things. Puts the primer in and drops off your resizing container. Now you put your empty shell in here, drop this down, slide that over, that drops your powder. You lift it up. You'll line up a wad. Now this is a 1 ounce wad. So I've got the 1 ounce shot bushing in there. You slide that back and it drops 1 ounce of shot. Lift that up, your shot drops in. The next position has 2 places, and these are different numbers of crimps, and you have to look. In this case, it's an 8-place crimp, so I'm going to use the rear position here. Place it in there. You do a crimp start. Hold it down for a couple of seconds. Your crimp has been started, and then you place it in the crimp finisher. Hold it down, and there you go. This is, make sure I've got this on camera here nicely, a completed, looks like good as new, shot shell cartridge. Let's do a second one where I'm not explaining it so you can get an idea of the timing. There we go. Done. Okay, I hope that gave you some idea of how simple and easy this is to use once you've worked out the right bushing sizes. In my case, I need about 60 shotgun rounds a year, and it's maybe an hour's work, a little bit more, and I'm good for the year. Maybe they gave you some ideas on stuff you can do to improve your own self-sufficiency. And with that, this is John the Social Hermit. Until next time.